he wants us to change the constitution, that provision in the constitution, because he wants to contest again. But if you want to do that, you go to the courts. Constitutional reform cannot be enforced by intimidation and violence. We will not allow that. So maybe they would have told you that, oh yes, they are asking for political reform. The political reform they are talking about is a constitutional change, a change of what is in the constitution, which will of course require a referendum. So you cannot just go, and they waited until I left, which was also planned by them and their supporters, that they should do it whilst I'm outside of the country. They did that when I was in Turkey. There's nothing they have not accused me of. But if prophets were accused of so many things, who am I to expect that nobody will accuse me of anything? So, coming back to these elections, as I said, when the results were announced, believing that the same system was used, I said, okay, I accept this. If this is the verdict of the people, this is my destiny. I accepted in good faith and I congratulated the person. Then I think this was on a Friday. Monday, I think, the same IEC that announced the results called all the parties to their headquarters and said that they have made mistakes in the results. They called and then stated that this is what has happened, that the tabulation of the election results from the 53 constituencies was done correctly. Furthermore, regional election results were also tabulated correctly from Banjul to Basse administrative areas. However, when the total votes per region were being tallied, certain figures were inadvertently transposed. Instead of adding the total number of votes polled by Mr. Adama Barrow in the Basse administrative area, the IEC added the total number of ballots cast for Basse administrative area to Adama Barrow's total number of votes, thus swelling the number of votes Mr. Barrow polled nationally. This is very clear language. It is not from me. And they said this error was repeated across for other contesting candidates. I think this was an afterthought, but this is what they added. Having noticed this, the error is now corrected, and this is the actual result. You will realize that, one, they didn't say the number that was involved. How they rectified it was not mentioned. Now, so we realize that this is unacceptable. And the opposition themselves, if this was said about me, they will not accept the result. The West would not have accepted the result. But because they have an agenda, their problem in Africa is Yahya Jammeh and other heads of state. And I stand to die for what I believe in. That because you are white or whatever color doesn't mean that I should worship you. Those days are gone when they were forcing us to, when we were their slaves and we were their colonies, they were the colonial masters. Today, the only master is the Almighty Allah that I worship and nobody else. And I stand for what is right, and I'll make sure that I stand for justice. So, then more things came in. At that time, they didn't tell us the fact that in fact, on Saturday, I started receiving reports of what really happened that led to the 360 plus people not voting. We realized that, one, in some areas, these are big populated areas, our party representative called polling agents were not allowed in from 8 in the morning to 1 p.m. when there was an intervention by the government. Now, Also, during the time that they were counting, we sat here all night long, where I noticed that when they announced, because normally they should announce who were the polling agents of the party who has signed the results. What happened is they count box by box, and all the polling agents must sign that this is the true number of votes that this particular person has before it is announced, before it is sent to the IEC and announced. All the parties. So they go party by party, candidate by candidate, each your box they count, and then it is signed by all the party agents. I realized that in two different administrative areas, they announced the name of two people in two polling stations. And I was wondering, how is it possible that polling that is going simultaneously, countrywide, that you can be a polling agent in one polling station, bureau, and at the same time be at another one and sign this. Now, what are they? That is not possible. But because these people were denied, kicked out, when the deputy governor intervened and called the IEC, they told them, in fact, this deputy governor decided to go and represent us at one of the polling stations. After voting has gone on from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. So, I think what happened was, after that particular polling station agents were, party representatives were allowed in, they told him that there's another place also where they kicked out our people. So he decided also to go to that particular polling station. So it happened also in Basse administrative area. Now, on Saturday, I started making investigations to find out why 360,000 people didn't vote. Then we realized so many abnormalities. One, the voter register, what they call the master register, which is prepared by the IEC. This time around, we realized that the IEC that prepared the voters' cards have all the numbers of every voter, all the numbers of voters' cards. For some strange reason this year, you go to a polling station with your valid voters' card, only to find that your name is correct, the picture on the voter register is correct, the master register is correct at the polling station, but there's a different number that is put on the voter register, which is different from the number on your card that you have. And on the basis of that, they were told that they cannot vote. In previous elections, if you have a valid voter's card and you go to a polling station, you are allowed to vote, because that is, they will always say that there is an error in the computation of the number on the master register. So you are allowed to vote. This time around, they kick people out. Also, we realized that at certain polling stations where we were not represented, they were telling the people that, oh, the opposition has already won, so there is no point in you voting, or you either go and add to the votes of the opposition. So some people, being angry with that, decided to go home. But also, there's one very big town, which is almost the size of Serekunda, Mr. Achieve may know, which has always voted massively for us. And every election, because the town is so big, when in fact people were voting from 8 a.m. to 6 o'clock, it has, for the past 4 elections, had 6 polling stations. The town is called Garawal. This time around, they decided to put only 1 polling station. The chief contacted the IEC and said, made it very clear, look, we always have 6 polling stations. Why is it that this time we are having only 1 polling station? They said this is the way it is, and we are not adding any polling station. So imagine from 8 a.m. to 5 o'clock, only 1 polling station for a town that is as big as Serekunda. And the IEC refused the request of the administrative officer, that is the chief, the district chief, who the villagers were appealing to make sure that they give them back the 6 polling stations. They said no, they are not going to do it. Thereby disenfranchising our supporters from voting. So, and this is a repetition. Okay, in any polling, any election anywhere in the world, if by the time of closing the polls, you have people that have lined up at the polling station, you allow them to vote. This time around, people were coming in to vote, also considering distances in the provinces where some people have to go maybe 2 kilometers. They came, they lined up, and they were told that their time is up, and they kicked them out, which is also unacceptable. So this is the situation that we are challenging. We want to make sure that everybody votes in the elections. Everybody is given the right to vote freely. And so we rejected the results, and I reject the results up to today. Now, there are also other factors that that transpired, that of course we will talk later off the camera. And so what we are asking for is not for the IEC to declare me the winner. I cannot do that, because already everything is messed up. And so if I want a conflict, then that's the only time I say I'm the winner, because it is not clear. They have already made it clear that the results are, no matter what we do, it's not going to change the result. But at the same time also, they announced two results. After announcing the first one, they then came back the same day, both of which were also signed by the IEC chairman. And then they came and said, this is what has happened. Now, it is unacceptable. So, what we are asking for is to go back to the electorate under an completely independent electoral commission that would supervise the elections as we used to do before without having any problem, and allow every Gambian to vote. But it is abnormal that you set up a time frame. In any country, anywhere in the world, I've been watching elections. If people are already at the polling station, you allow them to vote. But this time around, people were lined up to vote, and they were told that they cannot vote because time was up, and they closed prematurely. So the whole system, as I said, was set up, and even before the elections, there were statements being made. Oh, this time around, yeah, I must go. I will only go when the Gambian people say so. Now, the interesting bit, the ECOWAS team came here, and I explained to them, gave them the documents to that effect, what has happened, and why I decided to reverse my early acceptance to non-acceptance based on the facts. I will not cheat, but I will not be cheated. Justice must be done. And the only way justice can be done is to reorganize elections so that every Gambian votes, and that's the only way we can resolve the matter peacefully and fairly. All the previous elections, including the 2011 elections, I have defeated all the political parties combined by almost, most of the time, 200,000 votes. And it kept increasing every year. Before the election, even hostile foreign press were saying that there's going to be an election that the incumbent is expected to win easily. Now, when I accepted, they made praises about me. But when I now realized that I've been cheated, and I said, no, I'm not going to accept this result, they call me all sorts of names. I don't care. ECOWAS came here, and in fact, there's one also sacrosanct principle of the ECOWAS Charter. That is the non-interference in the internal affairs of member states, which in this case has been violated. They came and I explained to them, they said they were going to have a meeting in Abuja. But before they came also, we have documents from a foreign government saying that